Hi guys, so this is finally Dadism number 2. I apologize for the delay in getting this out to you. I thought today we'd talk about what matters most. If you go to I've been to many workshops, both business related or retreats, faith related, that they do an activity. I've done this several times where they say take a piece of paper and write down the most important things to you, from most important, rank them in order, 1 to 10, top 10 most important things to you. So I'll give you the opportunity if you want to pause this and do this now, or if you want to do it later, that's fine too. But top 10 most important things to you is the first list. All right, and then the second list, after you've done that, or again, you can do this later, the second list would be to make a list of the top 10 things you spend your time on. Again, most time spent is number 1, and your top 10 things. So you make that list as well. And then they have you compare them. Okay, how much time do you spend on things compared to their importance? And if you're like me, or at least my experience is that my top 10 things that I spend time on is reverse order with their importance. So that sort of is the topic I wanted to talk about today, which was what matters most. What matters most to you? Obviously, you got to create the list to evaluate them. And I just encourage you to do that. And it ties in a lot with one of my favorite secular which is Stephen Covey's 7 Habits for Highly Effective People. And in there he talks about the 4 quadrants, and they're based on importance is one axis and urgency is the other axis. And he says things are either important or not important, simplifies it. And then things are either urgent or not urgent. And what he says is quadrant 1 is important and urgent, and those are the things that we have to do because they're important, and we have to do because they're urgent. So those must get done. Quadrant 2 is important but not urgent. So they're important for us to do, but they don't have to be done right now. And then quadrant 3 is important or not important but urgent. So tasks that somebody asks us to do right away, but really it's not our job at work, or it's made urgent and doesn't really need to be urgent, or things that we put first that aren't important but we make them urgent wants or other things of our needs. And then the last thing, quadrant 4, is things that are not important and not urgent, messing around, goofing around, and killing time. So what he says is that we need to focus on doing quadrant 2. Okay, by doing quadrant 2, we will first off eliminate or reduce quadrant 1. So quadrant 1 is important and urgent. So if we do the important things before they're urgent, they don't become urgent. So focus on the things that are important but not urgent. And then evaluate. The more we're doing those things, the more we can ignore the urgent, not important things, because we know what's important. We've evaluated that and we made our priorities straight. So I encourage you. I've done this a lot. Again, I've done some business evaluations where you go back and evaluate how to be effective in business, but also faith-based retreats. You really need time to step away from what you're doing and evaluate that first list. I strongly encourage a silent retreat where you can just unplug and know that there's not any immediate needs that you need to do or address. And I encourage that once a year, or whatever you can do, or at least take some time away and make that list. It's been my experience that every time I do a silent retreat, I'm made aware of the things that are important that are not, that I'm not paying enough attention to. One of the fruits of the retreats, just an example, is reflecting on this. One time I decided, while you guys were young and in school, that when you had these little half days where you went to school and got out at 11 or noon, I decided I would take a half day at work and come home and spend some time. And those little half day, just a few hours of doing something, maybe going to the zoo, maybe just going to get ice cream or something, or nothing, just hanging out in the backyard, were very valuable. Quality downtime, no huge agenda, and that gave me time to spend with you guys and help me put those priorities in line. A little half day of work missed was never a big deal. And so I just encourage you to make those lists. Ideally, do it in a quiet time or retreat time. Schedule a retreat or a time just to get away and pray and meditate and think about your life, where you're at. And schedule that quadrant 2 activities, okay? The things that are important but not urgent. The way I have to do it myself is I need to put them on the calendar, put them in my to-do list saying, hey, this is important but not urgent. I got to make it urgent for myself because that's just the way I operate. So I just want you to finally get to Dadism number 2. Love you guys, praying for you. God bless you and have a wonderful day.